to spend some time. I guess I should use the word interviewing, but I kind of want to use interrogating Kyle. So we've got Kyle joining us. Hey, Kyle with the hair, he looks like he should be doing a model shoot somewhere.
Thank you.
Sickening.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, before you two get into our interrogation of Kyle, which I am going to join in on, don't worry, Kyle, you're not
Please,
getting away
please
with
do.
it.
Please do.
Obviously people might want to quickly refresh coffee cups if you're in the US, or beer if you're in the India time zone. But I'm going to leave this on screen for people as we're chatting to Kyle. Have a go at it. Me and Roger like to do a bit of a quiz just to get people thinking during the coffee breaks / interrogating Kyle.
Love it.
So, yeah, very good. So just in case you have joined us recently, we had some technical challenges which have been thumped and overcome, and it just meant that we've had to sort of have a little bit of a juggle with our lineup. So timings are very slightly off, but we'll catch up because we won't spend too much time. Well, if I can stop Abby from talking too much, but but we're going to have Ambili coming afterwards instead. She was due to be our first speaker, but I think she just wanted to be introduced twice so that we remember her. But here we go. There's some machine learning labeled data sets. Which approach? Going. Abby will say when it's gone.
Gone.
Okay, gone.
All right. Okay, so yes, 68% got it right. It's supervised learning. So well done. We'll go through the answer after people have got coffee as well. But Kyle, more importantly, let's get to you, my friend. Who are you? Where do you work? And what's your job title?
Sure. So name's Kyle Fenton, legal, but I go by KJ. I think it's professional enough a nickname. I'm a sales engineer here at UiPath. Been involved with automation for probably a good chunk of, about 4.5, almost coming on 5 years now. I guess I just said 4 to 5. I guess I should probably pick one. But to that point, been involved with automation for a while. Did the implementation thing. Realized I wanted to be more involved with the education component, the assessment, so on and so forth. And I ended up finding myself rolling into a sales capacity for UiPath. So that's really been my experience up to this point.
Very good. What is it, so? If we've been talking about machine learning, and I guess, in some ways, the sort of automatic ability of machine learning to change and if you like, filter and refine results for us for analytics purposes is already sort of an RPA type process. I know it's not, but how do you see RPA, specifically the UiPath RPA, enhancing or improving machine learning type scenarios?
Sure. So if we just look at RPA at the basic level, and I want to cover it and actually spill into the ML, because I love this conversation because it's almost the harmonious relationship that people don't even know about yet. So RPA is very simple. It's if then else logic to perform specific actions on a person's computer, machine, et cetera. It could be local desktop, virtual machine, et cetera. We do it in a multitude of different ways. Obviously, you have your backend ways of running Python scripts or C# scripts or a web request calls and so on and so forth. But what if that doesn't exist? What if you need to use the UI? That's where UiPath takes the cake, and we've created a harmonious relationship of being able to develop workflows based on whatever you need the robot to do to either perform a web request and or scrape data from a website. So when we think about how that applies to ML, if you have a backend integration, there isn't a person on this planet that isn't going to say you should automate system A to system B with a backend integration. But more often than not, that doesn't exist. So what if there was a way to take data from something that we didn't have backend access to, push it to a model, and then based on an output, perform some actions downstream? What machine learning is super, super cool in doing is taking a set of inputs and making sure the data is cleansed, of course, give you some sort of recommendation, suggestion, et cetera. And I've got a demo that actually shows it that's super simple, and then taking an output. But what you can't do is the automated part of pushing the data to it and pulling it out. But now you can, right? Using a tool like this. So when you think about just ML, it's super, super simple. And I've got a demo that we actually perform at a lot of like banks for like sentiment analysis. And there's a bank where literally they didn't have like an automated way. They're like, what if we could just triage our whole help desk and just put emails in specific things. And all they're doing is literally using RPA to grab the emails. But then the ML part says, what's the sentiment? It's perfect. It's genius. And they save a ton of hours. So let me just run this real quick while we continue the conversation. But that's the biggest thing I think I can think of on that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you going to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. I'm getting it all set. Sorry,
cool.
I should have had that set up before. Yeah, let me share screen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so continue on. Yeah, but that's really high level what I'm kind of thinking of here. And I'll just run this as we go along. It's just going to get some emails here, negative and positive emails. It's going to reset and explain what's happening here. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
Cool. So this is a real life case where UiPath have helped. Like, where do you think it's going to go next? RPA and machine learning. What do you think is completely out there right now?
Yeah. So what's happening now is this is obviously very real, very simple. I think in the short term, what we're going to start realizing is that there's always a lot of data sets, and we want to keep building that data set to be able to do something. Using automation to gather that data and make our models better is going to be good. Here's where I think it starts blending. You ever seen like autofill on Google? The concept of semantic automation. We're going to start getting to a point where we're doing this actively now as a company. And I'm not saying like it's going to happen anytime soon, but what's really happening kind of under the hood, so to speak, is we're studying these applications at their core. We're studying the backend metadata. We're studying when people interact in the same tabs over and over and over again. We're getting those recorded scripts. We're going to get to a point where you're going to be able to click on the entire screen, and we're going to know based on thousands of other times before, oh, you're probably going to click this specific tab and you're going to need this specific information. Here's a template to get started. That's where this stuff's really going to go. We're not there yet, right? I think we're just building out models as we go. And you look at other things like task mining is fitting into this space very, very well, uses the concept of artificial intelligence to spy what's going on the screen. But as we start perfecting, enhancing these processes and standardizing across the board, we're going to build these libraries. When we can take that library and take it a step forward, that's where I really see that harmonious relationship happening. I just think we're just not there yet, right? We still have to, we're still working on cleaning data, right? Like that's just what it is. We've had years and years of technology and so on and so forth. So it's going to take some time, but it's going to be really cool one day when you're just going to be like, oh, hey, robot, I need to interact, or I need to grab data from this specific place and do this. And you're going to have something that all you're going to need to do is just identify your parameters, and it's going to be built. It's going to happen. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. And you can say that KJ said it on this call like crazily, but that is, like I said, short term, helping gather the data to make these models better. Long term, I think it's going to be actually using those methodologies to actually identify things on a screen and automate them is truly where I see the relationship going.
So I tell you what would actually give you a real edge as you're starting to enter into fatherhood. You need an RPA process for diaper changing.
Man, okay. All right. So okay. Is it possible to cause the software robot to grow like human arms and do it for me? Do you think that might be a thing? I don't know. Maybe, or maybe we just program the robot that every, so often we just set little Maverick there and just leave him, maybe, who knows? I don't know.
Kind of cool. I mean, I think the thing that always amazed me was that something so beautiful and that you love so much could smell so bad. So
I know it's something that I haven't. Yep, I haven't experienced it yet personally. I've obviously I have nieces and nephews and so on and so forth, but my own I don't know. So this will be my first shake at it. So I'll probably think about that. I vote in RPA and parenting period. That's funny.
In all honesty, I congratulations. It's the
Thank you very much.
Part of life, and changing a diaper, I promise you, is nothing. So
yeah, done it. It's nothing new. I'll be fine. No big deal. I just can't wait until I get peed on. That's going to be fun.
Oh yeah. So I know that was a highly technical conversation. Kyle, thank you so much for sharing with us.
Anytime. Happy to chat.
We appreciate UiPath sponsoring us. We look forward to working with you again in the future.
For sure. Likewise.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Pleasure being on. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Cheers, guys.
So those who were with us from the beginning, we know that Amberly had a few technical issues. We've sorted those in the background, so she's going to come up next. Those who are tuning in for Zyga, unfortunately, he came up the schedule. Hopefully you've refreshed your coffee cups and we're ready for our next presentation. And thanks to Carrie, she just put the link for UiPath into our chat. So if you do want to read up more about UiPath, please feel free to use the link. So our coffee quiz, which approach to machine learning uses labeled data sets for training as well as correct outputs? Supervised learning. So hopefully you all got that one. And so next